like a dreamer. Fly all over the world. Open your shut so the world can see. You're a beautiful pearl. Live your day like you mean it. And don't forget who you are. You're free to go anywhere. There's no distance too far. And I just can't get enough of your energy. I just can't get enough. You're the spark shining in the dark. Oh, 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 oh. Love.
Welcome to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. I am so excited you're here. We have a fabulous show lined up for you. It Is What It Is a show, real people. It's got real people, real stories, and people overcoming adversities, people giving back to society and inspiring others. So without further ado, and before I introduce my amazing guest, I want to talk about mitzvah time. Mitzvahs. What's a mitzvah? You all know by now. It's a good deed. I challenge you every day to do a mitzvah, do something special for somebody. You know, in giving, you receive so much. And this world needs kinder people. We need to do good deeds for others. I want to talk about a mitzvah that somebody did for me. And I really want to hear about and learn about all of the mitzvot, the many mitzvahs that you all do. So please make sure you send me, tell me, you know, message me, comment, let me know what the mitzvot are, because I want to acknowledge you and your mitzvot. So my friend Larry got me a ticket for a premiere of this amazing film called The Vagrant. And you know, first, the fact that he bought me this ticket was the kindest thing. I met so many amazing people, and the storyline is incredible. This movie is going somewhere. This is about how your life can change in the blink of an eye. Anybody can be homeless. Anything can happen literally overnight. And I can relate in many ways because I was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2015, as most of you know, and my life changed literally in that split second that I got that diagnosis. I lost so much, you know. You never plan for these things. And, you know, this movie, The Vagrant, and thank you, Larry, so much, because it really was a magical day. I met so many people I've been communicating with online. I got to meet them in person. I met so many new fabulous people. I ran into, you know, friends of mine there, and such a touching story, you know. So, Larry, thank you so much for that. That was a beautiful mitzvah that you did, and I hope to reciprocate. So, giveaways. We have giveaways every week. This giveaway this week is from my guest, John Alite. That's a proper pronunciation. John Alite. John Alite is, it says Mafia International, Gotti Enforcer for the Gambino crime family. You can tell I'm not Italian. For the Gambino crime family. And he generously donated this signed book. So remember, comment, like, and share. And the more times you comment, like, and share, the more chances you have of winning. So not only do you get this book, but you get this awesome bookmark. And it has this great picture. This picture is on one of his other books. He's got 5 books. And let me tell you something, amazing reading. So this book that you're going to get is not brand new because I read it already. So you're going to love it. It's definitely a page turner. You're going to sit on the edge of your seat. But when we come back from this commercial break, John Alite is going to be with us today. He is by Zoom. And wait till you hear him. So don't go far. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Silvermine at Home, a Connecticut-based non-medical home care agency servicing Connecticut and parts of New York. Silvermine caters to their clients' needs while offering peace of mind to their families so their loved one can age in place and live their best life possible. Call today to see how they can make a difference in you or your loved one's life. Our family caring for yours. Visit silvermineathome.com or call 203-228-5007. 5007.
5007.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. We're going to get right into the interview with John Alite. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, just a little, but we fixed it. So don't worry about it. Hang in there, and let's get started.
Thank you very much. And actually, you pronounced it the right way. Most people pronounce it Alite or Elite, and I pronounce it all three ways now. So
I like Alite. You know, I like that. It's now you're not Italian though.
I'm Albanian. Yeah.
So, yeah, we have a lot to talk about here. Let me tell you, I read the last couple of days, I read this book right here, which is going to be the giveaway, for this show, a signed copy, and we have a nice little bookmark here with this awesome picture of you. Was this in jail?
No, that wasn't. Actually, Fadil Barisha, who's one of the top photographers in the country, he does the Miss America's tennis plays, a lot of the actresses and models. He did the cover for me, and he's an Albanian guy. And a shout out to him always. He's a gracious guy and really a gentleman. So thank him for that.
Beautiful.
He can make anybody look good.
You're very handsome. Stop it. But then what about this, the bookmark? What is that picture?
The one in the bookmark?
Yeah.
That is, I believe that was one of my other covers. The one in the book.
Okay, awesome. Well, you have how many books out now? How many books do you have out now, John?
I have five books out right now.
That's incredible. I have to read all of them. This is a page turner, I have to tell you. I mean, I thought my book was a page turner. It is what it is. Your book, let me tell you, you're going to have to read my book, John. But this book, oh my God. So we're going to get into it. Whoever is getting this book is secondhand already because I read through it. So how did you get involved with the mob? How old were you when you first got involved? You were young, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was a 3-year-old kid in social clubs in the Bronx. In Jersey, around some serious mob bosses, heavyweights, guys like Lucky Luciano's cousin, Charlie, who's a main guy, Gambino Family, Vito Genovese's people, Al Greco, different guys that grew up with my dad, that he introduced me to these guys.
So starting at this young age, you kind of grew up in this. I mean, this was your life, and when did you start actively getting involved? I mean, you were young.
I was 3.5 when I first took my first book-making bet. No, I'm kidding. I started, I guess, actively involved where I understood that I was doing some criminal activity at about 12, 13 years old, I guess. Small stuff, but I'm involved.
Right. And then, so what was it about again, you were born into this, so this was your lifestyle, right? I mean, this is kind of all you knew. What was it that intrigued you? What was it that, was it the danger, the excitement? What was it that grabbed your attention?
I think like most young kids, the power and the money, and, coming from a poverty family. And I say that, I have a saying that came from the writer Lou Romano about zip codes. You become who you are from where you live. Unfortunately, if you don't push through the neighborhoods we live in, we succumb to what the neighborhood brings. And that's in these kind of neighborhoods, when it's poverty, it brings crime and quick money. And unfortunately, you pay with your life with it.
Right. I mean, you were pretty savvy. You were street savvy. I love the nickname you have. What was it, Vets or you?
Yeah, Vets.
Vets. Okay. I just got a Corvette, by the way.
Did you? What color did you get?
It's white. She's a 19.
That's my old car. Can I drive it?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to hold you to it. We're on the air.
You got it. You know what? Promise. Yes, I make the promise. You could also fix it up for me if you want.
Yeah. I don't think you want me to fix it. I'm lucky I can fix a flat tire.
She's a 1976 Corvette. She's like,
really?
Yeah, 4-speed, and just registered her. She's tough. So when I read that, I'm like, oh, he likes vets. I love vets. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love the nickname.
a big mob con guy that was involved with the Gambino family. He nicknamed me that back in the, I guess, the mid-'80s, early '80s, sometime like that.
Right. Well, you know what? Maybe that'll be my nickname too now.
Yeah.
So you're not Italian. Your family. I mean, but you lived in an Italian neighborhood. Is that what it was?
No, not really. Our neighborhood is mixed. There's a lot of Irish guys that actually grew up with me, but I lived in an Irish neighborhood. There were too many Albanians around in those days, and I grew up with around the Italian mob because of my family's background and things like that. So I was, the similarities of Albanian culture, Greek culture, and Italian culture are the same. And I go to Europe a lot, so I'm used to the culture and the same family kind of values and food, and so it's kind of similar in a lot of ways.
Right. Well, let me ask you, your first crime. How old were you, and what did you do? I know that you said you will talk about anything, and again, you do in your book. You put it all out there, which, like, wow. Let me tell you, good reading. What was the first thing that you did? The first crime. How old were you? What did you do?
Oh God, I was young. I was probably 7 years old. The first petty crime. We would steal out of stores. We would steal a lot, though, and not like most kids would steal bubble gum. We'd go to the dime store and package up and put all kinds of toys and sports stuff in our pants and divert the store owners and the workers with somebody else, and then we'd take it out the other door. So that started at a young age, and then in the 5th or 6th grade, we stole the keys to my elementary school, and we stole equipment out of there, computer stuff, and the older kid that was involved with us, this kid George Deacon, he was selling it, and then when he got caught, he kind of sold us young guys out, and so that was probably the first little things as a kid that I knew I was going in the wrong direction.
Right. Did you ever want to get out of that? Because saying you went in the wrong direction, you went deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and the crime that you committed got pretty big, bigger and bigger and bigger. And, was there ever a point where you said, I want out, I don't want to do this, I don't want to live this lifestyle anymore?
Not in the younger years, never. Actually, I was all in. Through the 60s, 70s, 80s, even in most of the 90s. And then as the world evolved and I got older, more mature, and I seen through what the street guys really were about, and the non-loyalty, the intelligence level of most of them, they're dumb. So I started to see something different in the life that I didn't see as a young kid. And generationally, it changed. What was back in those days that became the present time is completely a different era of gangster.
Right. So the gangsters are different now. Are there, is the mob in full effect, right? Like in full force right now? Like they were before?
In my opinion, no, not at all. There's two things for any company to exist, and that structure is one, and the second is control, right? In a regular environment, a huge company is control. CEOs of EF Hutton or Merrill Lynch, but in a mob, it's violence. And when you lose the violence and structure, you don't have an existence of an organization, in my opinion. It's extremely weakens, which in my opinion it is weakened tremendously. It's more of a white collar business these days.
Do you miss the lifestyle?
I miss the adrenaline rushes, of course. I put my life on a high wire on a constant basis. And at first, I never realized what that was that I was always looking for. And then I realized it was the adrenaline. Again, you start to know yourself, start realizing you love to put yourself in danger. And whether it's not anymore about just money, and it's not anymore about just power. It's about that rush that nothing else can give you, except when you put yourself in a dangerous situation.
What do you do now for that adrenaline rush?
I joined a bowling team. I just, what I do, honestly, my adrenaline rush is on a positive level now. I try to mentor kids, people that have been in trouble, young guys that have been in trouble, even guys that are adults that reach out to me. And it's an extreme good feeling in a different way of adrenaline when you know you're saving lives and they get in touch with you and thanking you and telling you not to stop what you're doing and don't succumb to the trolls, the people that try to agitate and poke the bear, because people try to poke me on a regular basis because of jealousy, envious. They want to drive my car, and I don't mean the Corvette. They want to drive my car of the tenacity they have to change my life, to go after good things, and redirect myself in a positive path. They're not able to. They're weak, and so they're going to be haters. That's why you have bullies out there, and unfortunately, that's why you got a lot of kids that are killing themselves over bullies. And I'm trying to be out there and support those kind of people.
No, that's awesome. And you're right. A lot of people want to ride on your coattails, and they see someone, who, again, living the lifestyle you lived, there's something sexy about, a mobster, if I can say that. There's something sexy about a dangerous man. And, you live that amazing lifestyle, incredible. I mean, the good parts, the bad parts, it was sexy and dangerous. And here you are now, giving back and kind of making up, right, for all the wrongs that you've done. Is that right?
Yeah, I started off on a path when I came home again to help myself, right, to get myself mentally right. And then it continued into saying to myself, I can help a lot of other people to get mentally right and to enjoy their lives and save some of the kids that are from my neighborhoods. So it became something I was almost obsessed with. And so it didn't become just about me, it became about them. But when I'm doing these educational talks or these events, I'm very honest with them. I tell them, listen, I'm giving you guys as much as myself. And if we can help each other through it, then we can all enjoy our lives in a good way and be successful. You don't have to be rich to be successful. That's the myth that people believe that money buys you happiness. And that's not true at all. You can look at a lot of people, and I've used Michael Douglas, the actor's son, as an example. He was in prison with me, a nice kid, came from all kinds of money, he wasn't happy, and he got himself involved in drugs, him and his girlfriend, and he wasted a big part of his life, and hopefully he's back on track. And he was a nice guy, gentleman, but that's the life of the street when you're not happy.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. How many times were you in prison?
Too many times. I lost count. Listen, I spent about 18 years in prisons and out, locked up constantly for different things, mostly violence and assaults and things like that. Later on, more serious things, the RICO case and murders and organizational stuff. I got locked up with silly things as bribery and institutes of trying to get friends of my wives pregnant with sperm kits. Guys that weren't going to make it home and their wives wanted to have babies and their clock was ticking.
Oh, wow.
So, it's ridiculous, but it isn't ridiculous at the same time because you're involved in trying to take advantage of institutes and the way they're run. So, I I get it. I don't see the seriousness in it because it was something that was actually positive.
Right.
Because a lot of jails don't have conjugal visits, and the woman never committed a crime. Their boyfriends or husbands did. They shouldn't have to pay a penalty. So I think that law needs to change. They should get some conjugal visits for guys that are in prison. I advocate for all this stuff now, and I'm not saying none of us, when we get in trouble, don't deserve some punishment, but I think that's excessive, and it's not necessary. Maybe it'll stop some of the violence in jails and sex violence in jails.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. The crimes that you committed, I was reading in your book, all kinds. I mean, robbery, shootings, drugs. Did we lose them? John, are you still there? Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So robberies, shootings, drugs, murder, all of that. Obviously, it progressed, from stealing toys when you were 7 years old, to all of that. So how did you only get 18 years after all of those crimes that you committed?
Oh, you're going in and out. So, in other words, if you do something example, a gun charge. Back in the old days, you could get probation. Then it turned to a year crime. Then it turned to a 2-year crime. So depending on where the crime was and what kind of deal you could cut with a plea agreement is the time you're going to get. Later on, when I get to 10 years for the RICO case, there's guys that never cooperate. They do 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, depending if they caught if they have actual witnesses at the scene. So I mean, there's a lot of factors that get involved in that, and there's also factors of guys that were cooperating against me when I was in the penitentiaries in Brazil. When I came back home and I sat down with my lawyers and seeing these gangsters, so-called gangsters, that the problem of the treachery, they'll deny they ever cooperated while they sit down with government. They're not drinking tea and having a biscuit, and then they're not driving in a Corvette with you. They're giving up information. There's no reason to meet with government officials unless you're talking, unless you're using a lawyer to do it without your presence. So once you're present in these situations, it's guys that are basically cooperating against guys like myself, and that's when I ended up turning my life around against these guys too.
Right. No, that's awesome. Because I met a woman who, she went away for almost 18 years for one incident, and it was self-defense. And she was actually on my show, So when I look at that, and then I look at, there was one incident, you wonder, why not? Listen, I'm glad you're out. And I'm so glad that you're reformed and that you're helping so many people and you're sharing your story. My show is all about sharing stories, like real stories, real people, real stories, sharing their adversity, overcoming adversity, and then what are you doing to help others, So, I mean, you went through a lot in your life. Like, you've lived like 20 lifetimes in one life. How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm 32.
Yeah. I believe it. You look it.
I'm 59. I'm 59, and you know what? Listen, there's a lot of factors on different cases, whether they're white-collar criminal cases, violent cases, extortion cases. I mean, it just depends on who your attorney is, what the evidence is, what kind of room do they have to wiggle. If you're going to go to trial, does the prosecutor believe they can beat you, or are they better settling? So there's a lot of factors that are in each case. Depending on the case, you got to know what the facts of the case. And I got a book called Prison Rules with Nick Christopher that we put out. We discuss this. How do you choose a lawyer? How do you choose a good lawyer? How do you choose a lawyer that's not going to sell you out? Because there's lawyers out there that we don't trust, that we know have a tendency of selling out their clients. You have lawyers that overcharge, that aren't experts in, say, a drug charge, and they take the case because it's their job, and financially that's what they're trying to succeed in their life. So you got guys like my friend Penny Gerentano. I speak about him all the time. Brooklyn guy, was a gangster, did do a lot of crimes like me. But the one he's in for right now, I believe, and I read evidence that I believe is accurate, that he didn't commit this crime. And that he's in jail for something he didn't do. And, I'm not going to factually say for sure his lawyer sold him out. He believes so. From the evidence I read against his lawyer, I don't trust him. I think the lawyer didn't do right by him. And we're going to look further into it. We're trying to help him get out now. So these are some of the cases that, people go to prison for when they're innocent. In 2022, it still goes on. So, that's part of the path I'm on, trying to help these other guys that weren't as lucky as me to recover their lives yet.
No, that's awesome. I mean, you are an advocate for these people now, which is amazing.
I try to do my best to help them. Some of them are friends of mine. Some of them are just associate people that I know, and some I don't know. So, but I know that when I was in those positions, I could reach my hand out, people turned their back on. So I'm looking to help the kids that I don't know, that maybe they reach out, or the moms that reach out, that they believe their sons were wrongly convicted. And there's a couple moms that recently reached out to me about their children. And unfortunately, the worst pain for anybody is to have their child in jail.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. No, I think that's wonderful that you're helping, so many people. And again, sharing your story, is truly helping so many people. You are brilliant. I mean, from what I've read, this is really one of the first times we're talking, but from what I read, I mean, you studied for your stockbroker's license, and you did this all yourself at the age of 19. You got it?
Yeah. Well, kind of memorized. I didn't really waste time learning the equations because I know they're not really used. So what I did was took up the 10 years to pass the test and kind of memorized it. I just kept reading over and over and over it, so I knew the answers. No matter how they mixed up the question or mixed up the answers in multiple choice, I already knew those questions. So I just put a lot of time. I'm a pretty aggressive guy. If I want to do something, I try to accomplish it. I don't like to fail. And I think that I just put the time and effort into it. And my biggest motivation to kids are say yes, you can do it. Don't say no. And my big saying is yes, I did. To the bad things I did and to the good things. And people quote me about it. Say yes, I did. They hashtag it all the time because I just try to keep that as a motivational point for anybody out there that's feeling down or thinks they can't do something.
Yeah. I love it. You own it, and you teach people to own it, and you just, you work at improving yourself. But listen, we're going to come right back. Don't go anywhere after this commercial break. More from John Alite.
Do you or a loved one need the care of a nursing home? A vibrant community to call home where there are healthcare professionals available 24/7? Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, located in New Milford, Connecticut, has been offering award-winning care for over 40 years. Whether you are rehabilitating from a cardiac procedure or hip replacement, or seeking a place for your loved one to live where he or she can receive top-notch health care, our team is at the ready. We also accept veteran benefits and offer a special secure memory care unit for residents with Alzheimer's or cognitive-related conditions. Call us at 860-355-0971. Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, a place to heal and thrive.
Welcome to Sunday Dinner with Chef Clemente. This is an all-new show about family cooking, Sunday dinner, things we did as a child, bringing back some memories and some tradition. This is how this dish was born. I'm going to show you that in just a couple of minutes. So, the trick with the meatballs, too, when you fry them, you don't want to overcrowd the pan too much. The drizzle, not too much of olive oil, right on top of that fish. So, a little flour. A little egg, Cella Luna, met somebody, everybody drink some wine. Everything's still going. Pass them around, everybody eat a little bit. Come on, you gotta dance. Oh my God! Get together, go visit your mother, your sister, your cousin. Bring some pastries, some food, get together, eat, drink, be happy. Who wants some linguine, clams, and pastries?
TLC Senior Living Services. TLC's compassionate senior living specialists will assist you and your loved ones as you navigate these next steps in senior living. With years of experience in this industry, they know what to look for, and they know the questions to ask. TLC Senior Living Services will help find the most suitable living situation, will help find additional financial resources, and assist with the entire process. Cindy Seville, owner and founder, treats her clients with TLC. Yes, tender love and care. After working for various assisted living communities, Cindy decided to offer her wealth of knowledge to all seniors and their families. Cindy takes her time with you. She listens to you. She helps take the confusion out of your search and treats each and every client like family. Make TLC Senior Living Services your first call. Find out more at tlcseniorlivingservices.com.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. I hope you enjoyed the first part of our interview with John Alite. The second one is going to start in just a moment, and our audio is all set. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're going to start the second part. Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville and John Alite. So John, what crime family were you involved in again?
I was involved with Gambino Family. Actually started off as a kid with the Lucchese family as a child and went over to the Gambino family later on.
Okay. And Do you suffer from PTSD or anything now? Because in your book, you talk about flashbacks.
I guess you really read and you paid attention.
I sure did.
Yeah,
I took
do.
notes, John. I took notes.
You have to, I think, when you are and experience as much as I did between the Brazilian prisons, the streets, the violence that I was shot, stabbed, and hurt myself, and some of the things I did to other people. I mean, it's just part of it. That's never going to change, I don't think.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you've done, if you don't mind talking about them? I mean, I know you don't mind.
No, listen, I'm very out there because I want kids not to do it. So I was involved in dozens of shootings where I'm the shooter, stabbings, batting people, killing people, armed robberies, hijackings, bookmaking, loan sharking. Mostly any crime you could think about, I was involved in. Stock fraud on a white-collar side, credit card fraud, intimidation. So I know the street in and out, unfortunately. I was a professor of it and try to teach kids not to do it. It's just because the end up is you're just committing those crimes against yourself in a lot of different ways. Yeah,
that's very true. That's very true. Now, obviously, like I read about the tractor trailers, and those were gold mines at the time. You had actually good people in your neighborhood supporting you. Is it because they benefited from your crime?
Some, yeah. Some because they were looking out for me because of knowing me since I'm a kid, knowing the person I was before this life, and the faith that I could change my life. So I got some good people, and I didn't have any like bad crimes of being a criminal. My crimes were against gangsters on the street. I wasn't that guy bothering a store owner. The guy actually hurting somebody bothering the store owner. So I was a different kind of criminal, I guess. I mean, not that it says that I'm not a criminal. I'm a criminal.
Right.
Well, I was.
You were. Right.
So I'm not justifying my behavior because it was bad. But I try to have my own set of moral ground of what I did or didn't do. I'd be involved in a robbery and I wouldn't get involved in killing anybody because I didn't believe in killing somebody for money. So, I mean, if that life had to be taken, it was for something more serious.
You know, I when I was reading your book, I read that, and I read that basically you're a criminal. You were a criminal with standards, and you only went after bad people. And you know what it reminds me of? I love the show Dexter. Do you know the show Dexter?
Of course, yeah.
Like everyone falls in love with Dexter, and Dexter was a serial murderer, and but he justified it, and you loved him because he took care of all the bad people. And that's kind of what it reminded me of.
It's funny you said that the movie Sick Minds, the movie that I just did, the horror show, is I play a butcher in it, and they're looking to do something else with it. My friend Jeff Howlett is the executive producer, and they're looking to do something further with my character as if somebody of Dexter. So we'll see.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Funny that you said that today, yeah.
That's funny, yeah. And that's where you are right now.
Yeah, I'm in Fountain Blue Hotel down in Gulfstream in Miami at the track. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Anybody want any horses, let me know. If you like somebody, I'll put in something. We'll
they're horses. I thought it was race cars.
No, horses. Gulfstream is horses.
Go to the racetrack with the cars. I'll come.
All right. I get that next. That's Daytona.
So, something else that you talk about in the book, you had a lot of cops involved in your crimes. There were a lot of bad cops. I mean, you hear about it, but there were so many that were involved in a lot of the crimes that helped you. I mean, literally gave you badges and gave you, uniforms and cars, right? Like cop cars. And, what kind of crimes did they help you commit? And, like, I
had cops that committed murders with me. So,
wow.
Listen, I don't like whining people. I don't like gangsters and street guys that are always out there crying the blues. If you're a gangster, we know the rules. There is no rules. So we're doing bad, and some cops are going to be doing bad. Some of them for good reasons. They're out there trying to catch guys like us, and they're not exactly straight on the line the way they do it. They don't have bad intent. And then there's guys that were involved with me that had completely bad intent. But I don't care what job you're talking about, whether it's journalistic or journalists or doctors or something, there's always bad people. There's a percentage that are doing, not bad people, maybe good people doing the wrong thing. So I happened to learn and reach out to some of those bad cops. And sometimes those guys from the street they're on a fine line. You go to the right a little bit, you become a street guy. You go to your left, you become a cop. And some of those cops that went to the left, they're also jumping over to the right sometimes. And those are the guys I maneuvered and manipulated into the street world with me. And I had a lot of them.
Wow. It's, it's like you look at police officers for, you're taught, you're raised to respect them, you're raised to, and then there's so many good ones, obviously. But you're right, in any field, you've got good and you've got bad.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Dowd is a guy that does my shows with me. We're always together. I'm out in Florida now with him. He's the famous police officer from the 7-5. There was a precinct out in Brooklyn that we did a lot of business out of, and drug business. Me and Mike knew of each other, but we didn't stay with each other back then. Now we're partners, shows together, podcasts together, we traveled together. And he was probably the most corrupt cop in New York, I would say, famous for it. And now he's changed his life, and we partnered up, and he helps me do talks to different organizations. We talk to police officers or their organizations, and he lived a great positive life. I mean, listen, no one's perfect, but if you go on and you change your path, everything that we do together as criminal and cop is invaluable to teach people on both sides to do the right thing. So we give them the pitfalls.
No, that's incredible. Like, do you go into school systems? Where do you find these kids? We
just were in Georgian college. It's a school out in New Jersey in Ocean County. We do talks there. We did talks at different colleges, Keene, Rowan, Ocean County, juvenile centers, second chance program kids, Winslow Township. I've done talks in Camden for kids that were incarcerated there, first-time offenders. Hackensack. I've done talks in Hackensack with Phil Scala, an ex-FBI squadron leader that was after me and was one of the guys that had me locked up. So, I joined forces with some of these guys on different talks. Dave Gill from the FBI in Philly did talks with me at Winslow. And in conjunction, if kids hear it on all sides with pastors, and we have some pastors involved with us, and really I try to aim to get to the inner city kids that grew up like me. So when I see, unfortunately, something that happened in Texas a couple of days ago with a mass killing of children, 19 kids died. These are things, in my opinion, they need guys like me to help them so this doesn't happen. And it's very easy fix. And, I've been mad about it, been pissed off about it for 10 years now. They've been advocating. They keep talking, these government officials like Biden, who's been a president and he's been a government official 50 years. We need to do something. It's rhetoric. It's very simple fix. You have security gates around the school systems, just like you do in jails. It's a two-pronged system. You buzz them in. They can't get through the second gate. If they get through the first, you lock the second gate. You lock the perimeter of the school building. And it's an easy fix. If you can send $40 billion, unfortunately, Ukrainian people and Iranian people, $4 billion, you can send $1 billion to our school system to keep our kids safe. So, I'm boisterous. I'm boisterous because I'm mad that we're losing kids here. We're losing them through fentanyl, drugs, and our border is a war zone, and no one's doing nothing about it. So, I'm an ex-gangster. I see where everything is, and I know how to fix it. If they don't want to do it themselves, hire guys like me. Mike Dowd, guys like us, we can fix it. Very simple.
I love the solution. You're right. It's an easy solution, and people don't spend the money in the government doesn't spend the money in the right places, and
they're too busy stealing it. That's the bottom line. Yes. They don't go to jail. We go to jail. They don't go to jail. They want to know why the inner city kids don't trust them. Because they see what I see. You don't have to have a college education to see that our government now is allowed to do anything it wants, not go to prison, no consequences. A lot of rhetoric of cases and no one goes to jail. It's just a big pony show. So everybody's sick of the horse and pony show. We'll come here to the Gulf Stream to see horses run.
Right. You know, it's so true. If you want, like, you were a criminal, you know, you could figure anything out. I mean, safety, you want to know how to keep these kids safe? I think ask a good criminal, right?
It's the truth.
Yeah.
But they're not trying to fix anything. You know, the problem is you got, and I'm going to throw names. I really, you know, again, I'm not a guy that doesn't say. Ex-President Obama actually got on the air yesterday and said, let's not forget George Floyd. No one's going to forget him, right? But that wasn't the proper place. It's a disrespect to the family and the children that just died. Right. You have 19 children and 2 adults that died. How does he have the audacity to say something political when you're talking about let this family mourn, let this go through, and then you can have your political agenda next? Because that's all it is. Because as president, he did nothing for the inner city of Chicago. Nothing. Completely nothing. Right. He did nothing for universities and black colleges. Nothing. He wouldn't sign anything from. So, and then he moves to Martha's Vineyard and becomes a billionaire. So these guys are just full of shit. And it aggravates me because they're 10 times worse than I used to be.
Yeah. No, you're right. And they get away with it. They get away with it.
They get away with abusing these kids from our country that are living in all these poverty-stricken areas, and you're giving money to Iran that wants to blow us up. I mean, I feel bad for Ukrainian people. I felt bad for my people when Kosovo was at war with Serbia.
Right.
And 200,000 people died. They were getting slaughtered. It took years for anybody to help. But there's people that are dying every day here, 150,000 kids a year from fentanyl. There's a war here, an extreme war that no one's doing anything about. We have veterans sleeping on the street. So the money needs to go to them before you start sending it around the world.
No, I agree. Actually, I recently met a woman who might be on the show at some point, and her daughter was, she died of fentanyl, and she wasn't a user of fentanyl. She happened to be at a party. Someone laced her water. She had a water bottle with fentanyl, and she died at the party. And she actually, well, I can't tell too much of the story yet, but horrible. And you know, she's somebody local to me, somebody I've met numerous times, and there is a war here. You're absolutely right. But let me ask you something. I want to ask you about, because we have about 7 minutes left. I want to ask you about something I read in the book, you know, also. You tried to get, it was an armored vehicle, and you tried to rob the armored vehicle, and it went really sour.
Well, it really didn't go sour. Could have gone a lot sourer than it did.
Yeah.
I took a badge from Phil Baroni, who was the detective, Gold Shield detective that used to work with me. Same guy that did murders with me, my bookmaker partner. He did everything with me. And there was a armored van that would do a route of 10 stores or 11 stores, something like that, or 9 stores. And the guy that had the job was just leaving. He was training a new guy. So we knew it was a new guy coming in, and we had to set up on an inside. Then we knew the route. We stole a police car, and I had a friend of mine drive, and we pulled him over on the Southern State Parkway. We put the cherry on top of the car, pulled him over, and told him I had license registration, and then told him he had warrants because he was speeding. And I was pulling him out of the car. It didn't have. I didn't go with a gun. It didn't have to be armed. It was with badges and uniforms and all that and cars.
Right.
And I was going to cuff him and just take his. He had about, I think at that time, 700,000 or 800,000, or minimum 400,000 in cash, something like that. But it was a good $500,000 up. I believe it was Labor Day weekend, and as I'm doing it, a regular police officer pulls behind my car, and he asks what's going on. And I tell my driver take off, and I give him some snow job story. I get this police car, and I told my family was on the other side of the highway. The guy cut us off. I'm on the job, but in New York, in Queens, not here. And he bought it, and to see where my family was, I jumped and I took off across the highway. And then I got him. And then he tried to go back across the highway. So when I seen him going to he had to go hit the light and come around the highway. I went back the other way again and ducked into a store, changed my clothes, bought some new clothes, and took a cab over to a diner where I had a pre-arranged location for another car that was dropped after the heist. And we never got the money.
But you didn't get caught.
Get caught. The guy in the back didn't want to leave. I kept telling him, go. and I had his license with me still. He kept asking for his license, but I dropped the license in the police car. So I didn't want to go back to it, and I just told him, we'll mail it to you. And, he was the stubborn one, actually, out of the two.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, he was doing his job. How did you stay safe on the streets? I mean, with such danger around you all the time.
Well, I mean, some luck, obviously. You got to be lucky.
Yeah.
I have friends that have been killed on the street. Some of intelligence, some being street savvy, and choosing situations correctly as best you can when you can. I mean, every day you've got to take that fear and use it in a positive way. Some people fear and panic. Some people fear and use it in a positive direction. So depending on who you're talking to, when I had John Tig on my show, I do a show, the John Alite show, the Mafia, and when I had John Tig on my show, who was in Benghazi, he talked about how each bullet he shot, he made count. So he didn't use what everybody thought, hundreds of rounds. He used about 60 rounds, but each bullet, he used his fear and his adrenaline to calm himself. And when you're able to do that, you actually safeguard your life more than guys that just panic and shoot wild and run. And some of that stuff that they do is just people that are afraid, actually.
Yeah. Now, you could never be a made man because you're not Italian. Is that right?
Yeah, that never concerned me because, again, what controls the streets is relationships, violence, and money making.
Right.
And a guy like myself ran the streets. There wasn't too many people told me what to do. Actually, the bosses would ask me, can I get some help from? So it's just like the Westies, the Irish gang. They did their own thing because they were violent. Joe Watts. I mean, I bring these names up all the time. Mm-hmm. Bugsy Siegel, Maya Lansky. None of these guys were Italian either, but they walked around like bosses. So Jimmy Burke from Goodfellas. So that's just part of the myth also about the mob. Power comes within of who you are, the reach you got, and the connections.
Do you feel reformed?
Yeah, I know I'm reformed because you have guys that try to test me that I know. I'm talking about average guys. I'm talking about street guys. Guys that I know. They never put a pistol in their hand in their life. And they talk like tough guys and killers and try to talk slick with me. So I still got the same swagger. I know what I can do to them if I want to do it. I just don't do it because I know better now. You hurt one, you kill one. That's not going to solve anything because you're going to have to go to the next one next, the next one, and the next one. And this is what I'm trying to tell kids. That's never going to stop. You're going to get disrespectful people, insecure people that talk nonsense because they know they never really about anything. And that's in anything. It doesn't have to be just in the street. It's in any world of life. When they're not secure with themselves, they behave like this.
Right. No, good lessons. I mean, you're doing so much for those kids, And again, I think that once we've experienced things, we become experts on our topics. Like I'm an expert on breast cancer and overcoming, all kinds of adversity when it comes to breast cancer. And, people can relate to me and they look at me as if I am an expert in the subject, and I love being able to help people, deal with it, whether it's the person with the breast cancer, whether it's a friend, a family member, and in your case, you're keeping people, kids off the streets. You're trying to teach them there's a better way to live. Take all that energy, that you're and apply it to something good rather than something bad.
Yeah, I mean, I lose my temper before Cindy. And a lot of occasions I do, and I regret even saying anything, but I don't react. And if I put that bat over someone's head that deserves it, possibly, or worse, I disappoint every kid that's following me. Every person that's in jail saying I can do it because he can do it. If he was this bad and he's able to transition himself, I can. So I let down every person in schools, kids, juvenile centers, everybody that has faith in me. So when I lose my temper, I think about that. And then I think about how weak these guys are. And all women that write and troll on computers or bother me, how they're an example to these other kids that do it to kids that kill themselves because they're being bullied. So all those adults should be ashamed of themselves for their actions because their actions bring actions of children following them. Mm-hmm. So we have, as adults, have a responsibility that I didn't know when I was younger to try to help these kids and don't act a certain way. Or, I have a lot of influence now over people. So if I do something negative, it's going to carry on to other kids to do it too. So hopefully I keep doing the right thing and lead as an example.
I am so thrilled to have you on my show, John. And I need all your books, okay? This one is going out to somebody. Whoever comments, shares the most, I pick, winners for the giveaways. But I loved it. Love your story. Thank you so much for joining me and being on my show. I really am honored that you took the time to do this. So,
what horse do you like? What number is your favorite number?
18. And 21. 21. Play 21.
I hope there's a horse with 21, but I don't think.
How many numbers? Are there 2 digits, 3 digits?
1 to 9.
Oh, 1 through 9?
Yeah.
How about 7?
7, that's a lucky number. All right. I'm going to play you 2 races in a row now.
Let me know.
Really, I really enjoyed being on your show, and I hope people watch you. You're great, and
thank you.
Great, good luck, and I really love it, and I'm honored for you to ask me to be on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. I wish you much continued success, and anything I can do to ever help, call me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. I hope you enjoyed the interview with John Alite. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back right after this commercial break with my final thoughts.
Silvermine at Home, a Connecticut-based non-medical home care agency servicing Connecticut and parts of New York. Silvermine caters to their clients' needs while offering peace of mind to their families so their loved one can age in place and live their best life possible. Call today to see how they can make a difference in you or your loved one's life. Our family caring for yours. Visit silvermineathome.com or call 203-228-5007. Do you or a loved one need the care of a nursing home? A vibrant community to call home where there are healthcare professionals available 24/7? Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, located in New Milford, Connecticut, has been offering award-winning care for over 40 years. Whether you are rehabilitating from a cardiac procedure or hip replacement, or seeking a place for your loved one to live where he or she can receive top-notch health care, our team is at the ready. We also accept veteran benefits and offer a special secure memory care unit for residents with Alzheimer's or cognitive-related conditions. Call us at 860-355-0971. Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, a place to heal and thrive.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
This is a sexy show.
Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey. The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor,
You like De Niro when Kate appeared. Counselor!
entertainment,
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful. Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
and optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. I'm here with my final thoughts. My mother always said, it takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown. I think that's why I smile all the time. She also said, you get further with honey than you do with vinegar. Imagine if you put all your energy into something positive, all the good that you can do. Whatever that energy is, direct it towards something positive. John Alite, our guest of today, fabulous guest of today, is doing that now. He's taking all of his energy and he's putting it into something positive, and he's helping all these children. I commend him and all of you for doing the same. Take that energy and apply it towards something positive. Thank you for joining us today. I hope to see you next week, 7 p.m. Make sure to comment, like, and share if you want to win this amazing book, and it is an amazing book. It will keep you on the edge of your seat. You won't be able to go to sleep. Kind of like my book, It Is What It is. So make sure you comment, like, and share. The more times you share, the more chances you have of winning. So you get this book and this bookmark. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope to see you next time.
Live your life like a dreamer. Fly all over the world. Open your shell so the world can see. You're a beautiful pearl. Live your day like you mean it. And don't forget who you